Well, welcome all of you, and thank you so much for braving the lovely Scottish weather tonight. Thank you for attending the Landscape Institute Scotland's Festival of Architecture Award ceremony for our design competition, A House and Grounds for an Art Collector. My name is Rachel Tennant, and I am Acting Chair of the Landscape Institute Scotland. I particularly want to welcome and introduce our judges, who have been working very hard today, reviewing all the entries. We're now getting on to the design competition and the awards ceremony. We're going to go through some of the entrants. You've all had a chance to look at them, but we're going to go through them just to remind you, and then finally award the prizes and the certificates. We will take a quick look now at all the entrants. All the collaborations are between landscape architects and architects. They're in alphabetical order, and we're really pleased to have seen these for what was actually quite a complicated brief, and the variety of entrants have been astonishing. So first of all, a lot of people in this one, but a collaboration between Barton, Follett, McKinnon, Pride, Thompson and Trevis. These are their two entrance slides. The next two are Gerard O'Brien and Amy Jane Routledge. John Murray Architect and Hepler. Keith Horner and Neil Gillespie. MBLA and Mast Architects. And finally, TGP Landscape Architects and Denham Bell. And I hope you all agree that that is a really interesting selection of entries. I'd now like to invite Bill Cairns, the chair of our judging panel, to briefly discuss the events that took place today with all the judges, and also announce the winners. I'd also like to say that we're really lucky because we have Karen Cunningham, who is the director of the Festival of Architecture, to hand out the prizes and the award certificates. Hooray!
We came to the conclusion that the first scheme that we liked best, but we thought most comprehensively fulfilled the brief, it provided good integration, was fully thought through, was scheme number 6, which is Keith Horner and Neil Gillespie. Would you like to say a few words? Tell us how difficult it was.
Well, you have to work with Neil Gillespie. It was an immense challenge because it was a very demanding brief, which we would expect for a competition of this nature. I think when I first approached Neil, we were both very keen on collaborating on this competition. We saw the merit of an approach which sought to integrate landscape, architecture and art into a coherent and holistic solution in a challenging environment. So I'm very honoured to receive this as a great accolade, and I'm absolutely overjoyed.
Now we come to a real humdinger. Scheme number 1 is the runner-up. But before getting into that detail, we had fundamental disagreement.
Babies out of crowds.
We had some fundamental disagreement at the beginning because we didn't get into the absolute depth of concept and care that had gone into the scheme. It was beautifully presented, but the judges found it most difficult. It provoked strong and mixed responses. But, on the other hand, we could not get away from the fact that it showed conceptual purity. And it was conceptual purity that drew us eventually to the conclusion that that scheme genuinely should be awarded the second place. So it would. Now I find it very difficult to go through all these names: Barton, Follett, McKinnon and Pride.
There's only two of us.
Well, you're a part of that.
I am as well.
Yeah, so we worked with two architects from Neil Gillespie's firm as well, so it was an inter-building competition. But yeah, we are both fresh out of ECA landscape architects and just had an incredible time working with two really talented architects and learning right from the start about how they design and how space can work.
Very glad to hear that we split opinion somewhere. It's always good to know. There was someone on the panel who was impassioned.
I'd like to ask Noel if he'd like to make a few comments. He was the one who defined the concept.
Okay. I was a very strong advocate of your scheme. And the main reason being that any competition entry that's worth its salt to win a competition, of course, should flagrantly abused and frankly almost ignore the brief. You didn't entirely do that, and you probably wouldn't admit to that, but for me there is a conceptual purity which Bill has referred to, which is about a refinement of the narrative. The narrative that you came up with has real academic depth, and I believe was therefore very absorbing. Out of all of the bids, this is the only one that was trying to do something that says you can appreciate the countryside through the contrast of what we're doing, not through the sympathetic rendition of what we're actually doing. And I think it's important that we reward strong ideas, dynamic thinking, and therefore we look forward to being able to encourage that sort of thinking able to happen. So thank you very much for your
Now, it's my great pleasure to announce that the second runner-up is O'Brien and Rutledge scheme. We found some aspects of the scheme, and this was the other thing, is that not all schemes can be judged on a single merit. But there are some of the schemes which have very, very high points, and that we recognized some very high points in your scheme. And we'd like you to come forward and represent the scheme.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much.
Appreciated.
Now, we'd like to say a few words about the process and the architects that you were faced with, and the problems that you faced with this exercise, some of the challenges.
Yeah, do you mind if I say something?
No, go for it.
Yeah, I knew you would. Don't know what to say, and it's very strange for an Irishman, but
We're in good company.
yeah, I know, talkative Irishman here. But basically, there was a point in this competition where we thought we wouldn't be able to enter through different issues and different struggles. And I know this sounds a bit cheesy, but I wrote to Amy and I said, I know this is like really cheesy, but I said, I think maybe in a way we sort of won anyway before the judging, because we basically formed such a good relationship, I think, through this process. And just to tell you a bit about our background, I was very lucky to be Amy's tutor last year. And Amy is very interesting because she is an architect, but also is gone back to do garden design and landscape design. And it was an absolute privilege to work with her, and I really hope she does very well in her future career. It's been
How
a
about
pleasure.
yourself?
And I'm just a teacher, so this has been actually, just like I say, it's been brilliant working on this competition. I remember somebody in college saying, you'll never get a chance after your major design project to do anything really interesting again. And I think this really was interesting, and to think conceptually and to draw from with your hands and stuff. It was really good. Amy, you have to say so.
No, it was just really interesting actually. Gerard and I have very different approaches. I think from my architectural background, I'm very precise and pernickety, and Gerard is much more artistic and creative, and he did all the lovely sketches on the next slide actually, which really, and he was very brilliant at placing each sculpture within a context and creating that kind of environment for the sculpture, and then we fed that into an overall design. So it was a really interesting process from going from the kind of microcosm to the macrocosm and then back to the micro, and it was just a really interesting process.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Well, we did say, this is just a sort of final point on that. We did find that there was very good integration between landscape and architecture in the scheme.
That's what we wanted.
Good. Judith, win.
Thank you very, very much. Thank you very
Brilliant.
much.
Congratulations for everybody who's entered. Even if you weren't a winner tonight, what you've done has been a phenomenal success. You've made people think, you've made the judges scratch their heads, and it was tough. It was really tough. We saw them go through it. So don't go away feeling disappointed, because I think that everybody has demonstrated phenomenal success with their designs. So congratulations to the winners. Thank you for the entrance. Thank you once again for the judging panel. That was a tough day for you. Thank you again for Dermot for giving us that very inspirational speech. That was a great talk. To the LIS committee, particularly to Alan Cameron, who worked so hard on the brief, and also to Claire, who's put a lot of energy into bringing this event together, and also to the Festival of Architecture as well. Thank you again.